Well, we a bit of a hole in the production schedule here, and I've got some couple of weeks to fill, so I figured we'd take a look at some more of my previously built models. In this video, we're going to be looking at this. This is Tamiya's 1/48 scale Gekko. This is a Japanese light attack aircraft. Particularly, this particular one was built and used as a night bomber. This is built strictly out of the box from the Tamiya, including the decals, everything right from their box. Now, it's the first and so far only time I've ever attempted to use salt weathering. I do plan to do it again. There's a couple of builds I want to use it on. There's a probably not the next round, but the round after that. So probably into early 2025. The next one of the kits I want to build is the Monogram B25 J in 1/48 scale, and the markings I plan to do it up on are the Pacific ones where it was all bare. Pacific? No, sorry, Mediterranean theater, and it was one of the ones that were painted up in sort of one of the ones that was delivered in overall bare aluminum, but then had dark green painted across the top, and they tended to weather heavily. So I'm going to do it again on that one, as well as probably the B-26, because the Marauders had a habit of significant paint chipping. Now, Japanese aircraft also had a habit of being heavily chipped, and that was a combination of not priming the airframe before paint, as well as, especially late war, poor quality Japanese paints. And it caused it to flake off the underlying aluminum really, really easily. And I wanted to recreate that, and this was a technique I had seen before. And it was one of the, again, this was one of the first times I had tried it. Now, I also did the pre-shading and the darkening, the lightening of the center of the panels, which hopefully the camera picks up. You can see the variation in the base green. Now, what I also did is I painted the airframe overall silver, and then you use salt. Basically, you dab some water onto the aircraft, brush water on, you sprinkle the salt. You can kind of clump it up where you want it clumped up along panel lines or whatnot, and then let it dry, and then you paint it, and then when you're done, you just wipe the salt off. And you always wipe the salt off in the direction of the airflow, and wherever the salt had collected, obviously the green paint isn't there, and you can see the underlying silver, but also as you wipe it off, there's not always a chance it will scratch that paint that's there, and it makes it just look a little bit more weathered. And you can be very selective about it. I used general table salt when I did this. You're supposed to use kosher salt because it's a coarser, thicker kind of crystal. So the next time I do it, that's my plan. I'm going to use the kosher salt, really get some big globs on it, and just weather it. The other one I do plan on doing it here is the Pro Modeler B17. I don't know when I'm going to get to this. I don't have shelf space for another B17 right now. But the one I do plan on doing is this one here, a bit of lace, and it has a replacement wing where the outer wing panel was replaced with an olive drab wing, and it was heavily weathered and chipped. And so I actually plan on using the salt technique to recreate that heavily chipped look, the way that paint, it basically looks as natural as you can for flaking paint. So anyways, first and only time I've actually ever tried that on this, and it looks really good. Other than that, like I said, built completely out of the box. I went all out with it in terms of opening things up. The canopies are open. This rear thing is open. You can see the cannons back there. This was the Japanese equivalent of the German kind of, the nickname was jazz music. So the machine guns it's a night fighter, obviously, with the radar, and it would fly up underneath the aircraft and fire the cannons up and forward into the enemy aircraft, knocking it out. And this didn't have to get straight behind it. You just kind of flew up underneath, fired the cannons, and you could dive out of the way of the aircraft. Also, the first time I ever used the Japanese interior greeny blue color, this metallic blue color, all inside the fuselage is painted that color. And then all of the extra panels are all painted in the it's RAF interior green, which is very close to the Japanese interior green, which is similar to what I used on the other Japanese aircraft I'm currently building. So this is the first Japanese model aircraft I ever built. After that, I did the 0, which I do have a time-lapse build for. I'll actually put a link to that up top if you haven't seen it yet. That's the 0, and I'm currently working on the Kate here, partway through building. So that'll give me the Gekko, the 0, the Kate, and I do also have a Betty in the stash. I plan on building that one up as one of the surrender aircraft, all white with the green crosses on it. So that's my plan for that. But yeah, this turned out really, really well. Super happy with it. As I said, it was one of the first time I did a lot of different techniques on it. So I learned some lessons. Some things didn't go perfect, but it's a good kind of stepping stone in my build. And I'm very, very happy with it. It looks really, really cool. And yeah, there we go. So that is my 1/48 scale Tamiya Gekko, built straight out of the box. And then again, first and only time I ever used a salt weathering technique. So on that note, let's wrap it up. And thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time.